Alright, so on to the analysis of gangs of New York. And then into the continuation. So, yes, overall, I also think that the characters have at least the Bill the Butcher's gang. There are, I think, 3 members, plus Bill the Butcher, and plus, afterwards, his nemesis, who first is also part of his gang, for people who know the movie. So played by Leonardo DiCaprio, the character called Amsterdam. So I think those 5 characters, the 3 extras unnamed, plus McGoyle, plus Bill the Butcher, plus Amsterdam, so 6 characters, and that have, I think, too many items of clothing for the time span. What I did is, I have not well understood, but I think the movie is only set from something like October 1862 till December 1862, or January 1863, so 4 days, October, November, December, 3 to 4 months. All those 6 characters would not have had as many items of clothing. And if they did, by chance, then they would not have worn as many for only the winter. They would. And some things barely make any sense of it in the beginning, when it's that character from Bill the Butcher's gang. All of the members, unnamed members. The one that looks like Hugh Laurie when he was young. Hugh Laurie when he played in the 1996 version of 101 Dalmatians. Well, he looks like that. Well, that character, he's wearing a linen frock coat in that scene, and hereafter for a couple more scenes. But if it is supposed to be in winter, it makes no sense that first of all he'd be wearing a linen frock coat, and if he had it, then he wouldn't. He would not be wearing it. So for them to be wearing as many items of clothing, and for most of them looking as new, for characters that, although wealthy, the richest and the most important for the 5 points, since Bill the Butcher, the warlord of the 5 points, still, it is only of the 5 points, or i.e. the worst slum in the Western world, and that era. And again, perhaps in that precise era, 1860s, it was no longer the worst slum, as I explained already, but in the movie, they changed that and made it as if it was still, although they not explicitly said, they made it as bad and as dirty as it would have been in the 1840s or even early 50s. In real life, there had been vast improvements. For example, the old brewery had been demolished by then. I think it got demolished in the early 50s. But in the movie, it was not demolished, and it is still inhabited by all those migrants living in squalor. And again, this was a conscious decision from the director's part to tell the storyline. But anyhow, because it is meant to be as such a hollowed slum until the 1860s in the movies world, then according to the time period, which is still very well represented, the actual time period is realistic as per the 1860s, apart from how hollowed that slum is, it was still hollowed, but not as hollowed as that. I'm not sure if it was still the worst in the world, by the by, but I simply know it was not as bad by the 1862, 63, as it is in the movie. In the beginning, in 1846, it was as bad as that, but basically in the movie it even says that it got worse. In truth, it got worse, I think, till the early 50s, when the government, due to the pressure, demolished parts of it, including the old brewery, and made it better. But anyhow, apart from that, they really wanted to represent the times accurately. Well, I think, I may be wrong, but I think that these 6 members, even had they been rich almost, even had they been posh people from Mayfair in London, one of the poshest places in London at the time and still today, I do not sense that they would have had as many items of clothing. Or maybe posh people as that they would have. But now I think they have too many items of clothing. Perhaps especially Bill the Butcher. Now, I know he's supposed to be over the top, to be like the big boss of the Five Pounds, so we are perhaps come to believe that even people who give him things, but they all fit perfectly, and to fit perfectly such items of clothing, they have to be tailor-made. So, but perhaps we come to believe that he makes so much money that all right, and he being so over the top, he wants that many. I still think there are a bit too many. And also, an actual mistake is they all have sewn-in collars, and that does not make sense by the anti-160s. And I will analyze that more deeply. I will now click onto the film. So that was like an overall review. So I do overall reviews, and then I detail reviews, like the top has a detail review. This is an overall review as per the characters in the movie. So I simply cut off the thumb there. So I'm not going to analyze that. I mean, the very first thing, the old Blu-ray is absolutely splendid. I mean, it looks superbly accurate. It looks awful like it would have in the 1846 old Blu-ray. And the people look disgusting, and their clothes are disgusting and all. So I will I'll just go back to... I'm going a bit backwards again. To the very beginning, after when it is first set in 1862.
To death the earthly things in you, immorality, impurity.
Well, so the first scene shows Leonardo DiCaprio playing Amsterdam. The first scene, I mean, not the very first scene, but the first scene where he actually appears. His hair is alright, I think. I think his hair represents one of the fashions back then. I will not do a deep analysis of that. I mean, his shirt, again, alright, it is a collared shirt. But he's meant to have been for 16 years in Hellgate, half off reform, and he's coming out for his 21st birthday. We were meant to believe, because now he's off age. That thing had fallen down. He's off age, and so he's allowed to come out at last. But probably he will not have won a detachable collar because it's a house of reform for criminal minors. They would probably have all the fashions, more conservative fashions, and they do not have the option to wear detachable collars anyhow. It is not part of their status to have a very low status. So he has this grey shirt with a sewn-in collar. Later on in the movie, I would skip to when he actually has sex with... he does not have sex, but he almost has sex with Cameron Diaz, who plays... Miss Aberdeen, Jenny Aberdeen, where is that? This is later on. And because they are about to have sex, we see his shirt very well, because so it is 15, well, it is 1 hour, 8 minutes into the movie, and he has his coat off. Again, those blazers, maybe all right. I cannot see the blazers well. But the shirt is very accurate. Again, what we see all the shirt, because it is too large. And also in a house of freeform, perhaps, I'm not sure, but they would have had clothes given to them, and or they would have made it themselves as part of their work to do. But they would not have been perfect at doing it, and that point would more have been to make it extra large anyhow, which was a spirit bagging, because it would have been hand-sewn in House of Freeform, entirely hand-cut and hand-sewn. And perhaps the idea even was, well, if that chap, he makes it for himself, but if Amsterdam, for example, dies,